It is Thursday. Welcome in. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks. Another day closer to kickoff. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. We'll go to the Show Me State coming up in about a half hour from now. We'll see what's percolating in that wonderful state. In the middle, smack dab, is Columbia, Missouri, the home of the University of Missouri. Eli Hoff, who covers the Missouri Tigers for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He'll be on this program. We'll get his thoughts on the big game. Rodney Orr at 11 o'clock in his typical spot. Rob Pate, Entrepreneur of the Year, former Auburn DB. He will join the show at 11:45. Brett Noiseworthy at 12:30. And we're also going to go at 12 noon. Andrew Jones, who is the publisher of Tar Heel 247. He is the individual that I was reading that report about Bill Belichick. So we'll get the very latest from what's going on there, because last night we saw a press release. So we won't spend a lot of time, first part of the show, talking about it. But apparently Bill Belichick and Bubba Cunningham, in a 25-word statement, had 12 from the former Super Bowl winning head coach and 13 from the athletic director, saying nothing to see here. We're all on the same page, and let's go win some games.
Yeah, so that means we're a step closer to the end of the tenure of Bill Belichick when you get the official endorsement and the school comes out and makes a statement.
There are 51 days between now and the time that they play NC State in the final game of the regular season. So it will be very entertaining next 51 days in the Tar Heel State to see exactly what happens. So Andrew Jones will join the program coming up later on. But we are going to start. I'm not really sure exactly what this means. I've reached out to some people in Tuscaloosa, and we will hear from Rodney Orr at 11 o'clock. But so an interesting thing happened last night. It was the first availability report that was shown to all of us. It was on the SEC website. And the availability report shows that Ryan Williams, Jalen Mbakwe, as well as linebacker Caden Jones, they show up on the availability report. What's interesting, Conrad, that all three played last week against Vanderbilt, and Williams, he came out and did interviews after Tuesday's practice. Williams is Alabama's second leading receiver with 336 yards, 3 touchdowns, 21 receptions, and only 4 appearances this year. So it says he's probably just a little banged up a little bit, but we'll find out from Rodney at 11 o'clock what's going on.
Yeah, it could be something. Maybe he got nicked up at practice yesterday. It was something that happened very recently. But, I mean, like you said, he's probable. I think we all expect him to play. Maybe he's a little limited or something. But, my first thought was, maybe this is something, and obviously it's not a concussion because otherwise I don't think he would be listed as probable. But you did have that, I guess they took away the targeting call, but the hit that he took last week in the game against Vanderbilt, that was the first place my mind went of, maybe it was some repercussions from that, because I know we've said he's avoided being hit a couple times this year, but he's taken some licks as well, so maybe just a little.
I don't even, with these SEC injury reports, unless they say out, I just assume that the player's going to play. Now, are they at full speed? I guess that's a question for everybody at this point in the season, but I think Ryan Williams, he'd be fine.
Wouldn't it be funny if it came out that he had a broken finger or something, and that's why he's been dropping all these passes?
Yeah, speaking of the drop passes, he is tied for the nation's lead with 2 others who have dropped the number of passes that he has in a game. He's averaging 1.5 drops per game since he's been on the field. And as you heard him earlier this week, he says just continuing to stay on the jugs machine, continue to do extra stuff, catching rugby balls, tennis balls. He says it's 1,000% mental. So he mentions nothing physical.
It's got to be. It wasn't an issue last year, was it? Is it huge?
Towards the back end of the second half of the season,
yeah.
Kind of contributed to the fact that he didn't have a 100-yard game for was it 10 games?
Yeah, it was from Georgia to Wisconsin this year. So, 10 games, I think. That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, now that you say that, I remember some drops later in the year.
So it's kind of interesting. I don't think anybody was
there were
ready.
Other big takeaways that I had from Alabama's offense last year.
Very true.
Maybe he's just not
it wasn't
used
just
to,
drops.
Yeah, he's just not used to the ball being in the right place at the right time.
That's valid.
He's not like trying to reach across
Correct.
his body.
Love you, Jalen.
Up top.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Hope he's doing well in Seattle.
All right, so that was, and really nothing of note from the Missouri side of things because they've had cupcakes the last couple weeks. I mean, they had UMass and an off week, and so, but everybody should be good to go from the Missouri side of things. Meanwhile, the Auburn, this is probably as healthy as you've seen this Auburn football team.
Since picture day.
Pretty much. We know that Horatio Fields and Darrell Robinson, they are out, but there's nobody else on the Auburn availability report. 0. Not a probable, not a doubtful, nothing. Just those two individuals. That is a healthy Auburn football team as you can get almost midway through the football season. Meanwhile, the Georgia Bulldogs, keep your eye on this developing situation. Offensive tackle Monroe Freeling, he suffered an ankle injury during the first quarter of Saturday's win against Kentucky. Freeling started at left tackle in each of the Bulldogs' first 5 games this season. He is listed on the report as questionable. Also, offensive lineman Ernest Green continues to work back from injury after playing just in the first half of the Tennessee game and missed the entirety of the Alabama and Kentucky game. So you got 2 of your offensive linemen, Freeling and Green, listed as questionable. That doesn't mean they're out. It just means, hey, keep your eye on that. Offensive line, man. If you would say that there's one area of Auburn's team that you feel really good about, it's that defensive line, and especially the edge rushers. So that could be a developing story there on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and for Auburn in this matchup to be completely healthy, to be at home, there's no excuses. You've had time to reset, recalibrate, refigure out what you're trying to do identity-wise, offensively. No excuses here. I think Auburn's going to be ready to play. Looked like the defense was ready to play the last 2 games.
They've been ready all season. Would you call it a perfect storm on Saturday?
Ooh. I'll be stealing my headline. Should be stealing my headline.
Hopefully it's not Deja Hue for the 3rd game.
Deja Hue. Or Clue Sleaze is one of
That's been a popular one
Yeah.
the past 2 weeks, yeah.
It's been well noted. Hugh Freeze started 0-4 his first year in SEC play. Last year he started 0-4. He's 0-2 this year.
Yeah.
So a win against Georgia would right some wrongs, no doubt about it. Kirby Smart, he had some interesting things to say yesterday on the teleconference. One thing we are going to highlight, apparently the University of Georgia, they had reached out, the Peach Bowl had reached out to Georgia and said, hey, would you be interested in coming over here and playing a game for NIL? Which ultimately they pivoted and went to Auburn, and Auburn said, sign me up. Let's go. Let's play. We'll move the Baylor game. Take a listen to what Kirby Smart had to say about just the thought of playing a game because of NIL.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's just I don't know if you say it's the tip of the iceberg. Like we don't I don't know where this is headed. I got no clue. I mean, I'm focused on Auburn and trying to figure out how to make our team better. So I don't really fully understand what's going on. I saw what you were talking about. You know, obviously people have reached out since then and even before then about opportunities that would be there. And I think you got to be careful because you're working for 2 different groups. You know, you're working to generate revenue for your players, which is the lifeblood of your program, but you're also trying to entertain and make sure your customers, the home ticket fans, the alumni, the people who buy your seats are just as engaged. And that's obviously a decision that comes outside of me. But it's very interesting because I know every coach is trying to get every dollar they can in terms of roster retention and roster management.
That was Kirby Smart about the NIL situation, which multiple reports out of Atlanta said that they had asked Georgia to do something, and Kirby said no.
And I realize the setup and what they're trying to do with this, but is there a way that some of these companies that want to put up this NIL money and incentivize the players and give them extra opportunities around these games that we could still do that, but we still don't take away from the home game for the season ticket holder, the mom and pop brick and mortar store that depends on that business?
It's a great idea. And you know what you could do is you've got advertisements on the field and a certain specific game is sponsored by X, you know?
Yeah.
And then you put their...
Well, like this one for Auburn, I think Affleck's involved, right? So you put the Affleck duck on the 10-yard lines.
Put them in the end zone.
In the end zone. There you go.
Or whatever the
You're good
case
to
may
go.
be, you know? But that's a great idea, is so you don't lose that home game, but, you know, market it, plaster the logo all over the field, whatever you want to do. And we'll get into a little bit more on a side note of this type situation in Pat Ponders later on, because the NCAA kind of laid the groundwork yesterday for something. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but there's something that would also pay schools a lot more money.
And,
So
yeah. And even outside of that, around turning into an Aflac fan fest, maybe you have some entertainment, you have some giveaways, all of that kind of stuff.
Nick Saban and Dion are there to reenact their commercials live in person.
Yeah, you get to meet the duck. Who doesn't want to meet the duck?
That'd be great.
Yeah. Big time.
Have a conversation.
That does seem like that seems like where this will head in the future, right? Because teams are eventually, it feels like it'll get to a point where they want the money, but are you willing to sacrifice a home game, let's say, every year for that type of opportunity? Probably not.
It's common sense, though, Conrad. So
yeah, you're right. It'll be about 50 years before we have that.
Don't give them too much credit.
We already have some predictions coming in on the Auburn-Georgia game. Brad Crawford from CBS Sports says Georgia a 10-point win against the Tigers. The Athens Banner-Herald, closer game. They say Georgia 24-20. Auburn undercover. Highlight a couple of their guys. Jason Caldwell says Auburn 25-24. Nathan King goes Georgia 21-14. And that leads to our Twitter poll question today, Molly, in regards to not only the Auburn-Georgia game, the point total, but the Alabama-Mizzou game.
Yeah, which is more likely to happen on Saturday? Is it Auburn-Georgia going under the 47 points or Alabama-Mizzou going over the 52? And I love this because right now winning is the under with 56% of our voters.
The under of the Auburn game.
Correct.
Okay. And based on these predictions that I'm sitting here looking at, only one of them has it going over. Everybody's got it going under the point total.
Well, if the way this game sets up, if Auburn's going to have to score more than 21 points to win, my opinion. I don't think they win this game in a 14-10 battle. And even though it's Georgia's defense, if Auburn scores 10 points, get ready. Or the 14 that Nathan predicted. Get ready for that. I guess that would mean 2 touchdowns, but yeah, Monday would be interesting.
Maybe
and in my opinion, that means it's an Auburn loss if they only score 14.
Maybe defense gets a touchdown.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
that's a possibility. Your special teams.
Are you in a situation like the A&M game where it's like, well, we scored a touchdown? Well, you scored a touchdown because you got a 90-whatever yard interception, then you had a 2-yard run. That's
So go vote. Love to hear from you.
Well, it's that season when you may be running the AC during the day, but the heat at night, and that stress on your home comfort system is why you need a Train. They've been named America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, so you know you can count on the reliability of a Train to keep your home and your family comfortable for years to come. So go and find out more at train.com.
We're off and running on this Thursday. Thanks for tuning us in. This is Jock's 3-Man Front. We'll get to your calls. We got a brief moment or two before we get a lot of guests on today. And, of course, the Courtesy GMC text line is already busting at the seams, 205-834-9450.
10-17, three-man front on this Thursday. Rodney Orr at the top of the hour. Open up the phone lines, 800-239-WJOX, as we get ready for this college football weekend. We got college football tonight. We got 4 games. Got the NFL tonight as
Did
well.
you watch any of that mess last night?
Oh.
Me in the suit, man.
Who'd you have? Who'd you have? Come on, talk it out. This is a group.
I had the over in the UTEP game.
What was the point total on that one?
I had it at 39.5.
Okay, well, they were, I mean.
I think the Blue Jays would be able to score more points. Sorry, Conrad.
Yeah, fair.
Watching that UTEP game, my goodness.
Yeah.
But Suit was in the same car I was in with that game.
Gotcha.
I did good in the Missouri State game. That was a winner. But the flipping over. Seriously?
You're going to be able to get back on tonight, though. We got the Whiskey Bus game, Statesboro, Georgia. Told you about that. Paulson Stadium.
We got 4 games tonight.
Georgia Southern at home, Whiskey Bus. 3.5-point favorite over Charles Huff.
Keep her on the Louisiana Tech game.
Ooh. That's in Ruston?
That's in Georgia, Rome.
Okay. All right. 800.
Interesting point spread.
239 WJOX. Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris.
How's it going, you guys? How's everybody doing this morning?
We're doing okay.
Chris, we're doing fantastic. How are you?
It's all good. Just driving my truck or whatnot at work. And Monday, Pat, I got to grab you by the shirt and say, talk to him, because you finally spoke the talking points. It must be heard. It must be talked about. When it comes to James Franklin and that excuse he gave, especially in the sense of the Big Ten, I have 2 theories when it came to the Big Ten, which I hope you want us to keep pushing, that we really have to be discussed about in the college football spectrum. One, that merger happened because obviously of the Fox money. But 2, it's because to keep that Big Ten on that Big Ten numbers drawn, and to keep that apparatus actually worth something, you have to get more heavy in the competition. So you took away 10 teams out the Pac-12, basically. And because let's be honest, what you had beforehand was Michigan, Ohio State, maybe, and nobody else, barely. Maybe in Indiana every now and then, maybe at Penn State, and every now and then they'll get exposed, and then it's just Michigan, Ohio State, and ironic that Kirk sitting there would say top, and all of them were saying top heavy. After they checked the mirror, and you know what's more even prominent about it, right? And he, a former ESPN, an ESPN host right now, they claims to be an expert on college football, but a social media post I saw asking about South Carolina's. Can somebody explain to me why their schedule is so rough? And then St. Beamer said it this in the interview, and I kind of wish I could just talk to myself and Dan Orlovsky saying, you do realize what the SEC really is, right? This is not no child's conference. This is where you separate the men from the boys.
True.
Every weekend, year and out, it's going to be a fight. Mm-hmm. Okay, it can be against the likes of Arkansas. It can be against the likes of Kentucky. It don't matter. You have to earn it out on the field. You can't just have a breezeway like the Big Ten or the ACC and think you're really just gonna run ramshot in the conference. No, that's not the case here.
Nope.
And Pat, you keep it up, I'm gonna give you half a stack of donuts, because that's what.
Wait, only a half a stack? What about a full stack?
Yeah, he's worried about you.
Oh well, I would be too.
You give speaking half my points. If you speak all my points, you validate me more.
Okay.
You get 12 out of that, because you're finally talking about what I be pushing.
Okay.
Now if you can push that agenda of Auburn hiring Hugh Freeze for beating Bama, then you get the other half.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
I have incentive now.
Giddy up.
I have incentive now.
Yep.
That's good.
Feel better, Chris agreed with you on your point.
So I shared this stat with Molly the other day, and I'm going to share it with you guys, just in case anybody wants to take this information for entertainment purposes only and find yourself in a position where you could enhance your 401k or whatever you would like to do.
Maybe just your ego.
So since the Big Ten expanded to 27 time zones, I'm going to give you the record against the spread when a Big Ten team crosses multiple time zones.
How many games
to play the game?
How many games are total?
Total games are, let's see here, 35.
35.
35 games in the last 2 years in which teams from the Big Ten Conference cross multiple time zones.
Can I guess?
Well, of course. You don't have to give me just tell me the percentage. What's the winning percentage against the spread?
Oh, I think it'd be better just giving you the number of games.
Okay, sure.
And you said it was 35?
35. How many times out of those 35 games has a Big Ten team, when they've crossed multiple time zones, covered the spread?
They're 10 and 25.
10 and 25. Conrad?
6 and 29.
And Molly's already said
I know
that,
it, yeah.
Molly she's not allowed to participate in this competition. Very good, Landrum. It was 11, 23, and 1 against the spread when a Big Ten team has crossed multiple time zones. That is 32.4% cover rate.
Whoa.
Just saying.
Yeah.
For those that are talking about Indiana going to Eugene, Oregon, and doing whatever they're going to do this weekend, just keep in mind that 32.4% of the time, that is it for teams covering the spread in the Big Ten when they have crossed multiple time zones.
Okay.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with you guys and bet it or forget it for tomorrow, but 32.4%.
I already felt pretty good about Oregon's chances in that game.
Yeah.
You didn't need the 32.4%?
No, I just felt pretty good about the Ducks anyway.
And I know all teams or most teams are naturally going to be better at home. Some teams a little bit better, some teams a lot better. I feel like Indiana is a ton better when they're playing in Bloomington.
So speaking of point spreads, Alabama is currently, I think it's down to 3, right?
Yeah.
So the hook's gone. Bama's now a 3-point favorite. Our good friend, personal friends of mine and Landrum, is Danny Cannell. I know a lot of people can't stand Danny Cannell.
DK's good people. He is so good.
We struck up this relationship with DK a couple years ago.
Yeah. We don't agree on everything.
No, I mean, that's fine.
No.
Landrum and I try to show America how we should react to, just because someone's on the other side of the aisle, that doesn't mean you can't be friends.
Yeah.
Just because somebody doesn't like your conference, that doesn't mean that we have to hate Danny Cannell.
No.
But I understand that a lot of people in our audience, they despise Danny Cannell.
I do.
I get that. I respect that. That's their opinion. Take a listen to what Danny Cannell has to say about the Missouri-Alabama game coming up this weekend.
Missouri, to me, is a little bit of smoke and mirrors, right? Their schedule, They're undefeated. They have one against Kansas, which was really good, I think. They also beat South Carolina, which was really good, I think. But they also were a little bit closer than you would like for a team that is ranked as high as Missouri is. And they've been awesome. Mart Hardy, the running back from Missouri, leading the SEC in rushing, has been an outstanding story. Bo Pribula, they've got Penn State fans wishing that he was still up there in Happy Valley playing quarterback for them. But we've seen this story before. Last year, Missouri was one of the hottest teams in the country. They go out to A&M and get absolutely smoked. I was surprised at this number, that it was so low. I'd even be willing to take an alt line, Tommy, up to 6.5, and you get crazy and you want to go up there around 9.5, feel free to do that. Alabama is on a mission. The veteran leadership combined with the motivation that was provided after losing to Florida State, I think is all they needed. It's exactly what they needed. This team is motivated. They're getting outstanding quarterback play with Ty Simpson. The defense is finally starting to come together. I think this is where Missouri gets exposed somewhat. I'll take Alabama.
Roll dang Danny.
How about that? So not only did he say, hey, maybe 6.5, he said, I would take it up to 9. Take Bama up to 9 points.
That's what I'm talking about.
Does that make you nervous, Conrad, knowing that Danny Cannell is now all in on the Tide?
No, it does not.
I would encourage me if I were you.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the few people, if Barrett picked Alabama, then that'd be a different story. But
No,
with
Danny's saying that. Danny strongly believes that Alabama's going to control this game.
Okay, timeout.
I'm sure Barrett's predicting that Missouri will have the ball with the chance to take
hold
the
on.
lead with
Let's
2
back up
minutes
a
left.
second. Just for those that may not follow Barrett on social media. So Barrett, the week of the Wisconsin game, Barrett Sallee predicted that in the last 5 minutes of the game, Wisconsin was going to have the ball and a chance to beat Alabama.
Correct.
That was his prediction.
Correct.
He then predicted Georgia to beat Alabama.
Yes.
What did he say about Vandy?
He said Alabama was going to stomp Vanderbilt and cover by halftime, which obviously was not the case.
That was not the case. Okay.
So again, love Barrett. He's a great guy, does a great job. But it's just typically when he picks whatever he picks for Alabama, the opposite tends to happen with him in that case. But no, I mean, I think Danny is, look, he's one of those guys. He was very complimentary when we had him on a couple weeks ago about Alabama. And I think, look, it's a team at this point in time. I think we know how good Alabama is. I think they're still getting better. If they go out there and play their game, they're going to win. But if they don't, then Missouri is more than capable of knocking them off at home at 11 a.m. on Saturday. So that's just kind of where I'm at with Alabama. I feel good about them in every game the rest of the way, but if they don't play up to what we know they're capable of, then there's multiple teams that can still beat them.
All right, so Danny Cannell loves Alabama up to 9 points. Well, we're going to go to the Show Me State next. Eli Hoff is going to join the show. He covers the Missouri Tigers for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. We'll get his thoughts about the game coming up Saturday in Como. This is Three Man Front on Jocks. It's 10:33. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front on Jocks. Our next guest is going to get his fill of football teams from the great state of Alabama. First, the Alabama Crimson Tide will be visiting Como, and then Eli Hoff, who covers the Missouri Tigers for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He will be down in our neck of the woods as the Auburn Tigers will be hosting the Mizzou Tigers coming up next week. But firsthand is the big one between Alabama and Mizzou. Eli, I hope you're doing well on this Thursday.
I am. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited to get down there next weekend. Mizzou's on the Alabama circuit right now, so it's a good time over here in Como.
All right, so give us the lay of the land right now, because this Missouri team, as everyone down here, a lot of respect for what Eli Drinkwitz has been able to do. This is a very good football team. This is going to be a very tough game, but so far, what you've seen from this football team, what has impressed you the most?
I think the most impressive thing has to be the way this Missouri team runs the football, and that starts with Ahmad Hardy, where I'm not breaking any news by saying he's been good this season. He's got more yards after contact than darn near every running back in the country. Again, that's yards after contact. He's got the regular rushing yards too. So he's been a lot of fun to watch. It's been an emphasis and a staple of this offense this year. There's been other pieces that have been impressive. Bo Prabila's come in and looked pretty good as the new starting quarterback. There have been some really good additions to the defensive front on the other side of the ball. But to me, the bottom line with this Missouri team is it's a team that is going to look to control the game by running the football. I think that's the source of confidence for some Mizzou fans in thinking they have a chance against Alabama this weekend. But it's been the predominant takeaway through these first 5 games.
What's been the team that? Oh, I'm sorry, Eli. Continue.
No, just going to say that's been the predominant takeaway from these first 5 games. This is the team that can run the rock and that wants to do so.
So the running game, that's going to be important. Is there another position, maybe a position group battle or a particular matchup that's been kind of an overwhelming theme amongst the Missouri fans? Like Alabama does this well. We're not quite sure if Missouri's up to the task here. Besides the running game, and you kind of laid that out, but there's another area that maybe Missouri is seeing how they stack up against a team like Alabama?
Yeah, well, I think the concerning spot is Mizzou's secondary. It's been pretty prone to giving up explosives. When you look at what South Carolina was able to do, and even what Kansas was able to do against Missouri, it was some of these zone coverage breakdowns where you'll see Mizzou's safeties, their eyes will be in the wrong spot, or they'll be a little too aggressive and come down to try to stop the run or bite on play action, stuff like that just zone coverage plays that are designed to keep the lid on the defense wind up breaking down and just gifting these offenses, these deep explosive pass plays, gifting them touchdowns. So that's an area where it's been a concern against those teams I mentioned, and I think even more so when you look at Ty Simpson and these Alabama receivers. That's the big worry for Missouri matchup wise.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. In regards to the people around that football team, is the concern the fact that right now Ty Simpson is performing at a level maybe better than any quarterback in all of college football? The running game still not there for Alabama, but, man, the defense has looked really good so far for Mizzou. Kind of take us to that side of the ball and what's impressed you there.
Yeah, the Mizzou defense is so weird, to be honest with you. The front has been fantastic. The edge rushers are getting pressure. The linebackers, Josiah Trotter, who's a new linebacker to the team this year, transferred from West Virginia. He's been just absolutely fantastic. Has everything you want in a middle linebacker. That's been great. This is a Missouri team that held South Carolina to negative rushing yards. Not that the Gamecocks are a great rushing team, but it's hard to run the ball against this Missouri team. Just the other side of the coin is that the secondary has been gifting some of these teams wide open opportunities there, and that's just the errors. That's to say nothing of how Ty Simpson can pick apart some of these zones, how some of these Alabama wideouts can shake themselves loose in man coverage. So it's the type of game where, to me, Mizzou maybe looks to put a little more pressure on Simpson, but I think it's going to be more so the back end has to hold up on its own, and the 4-man rush when Mizzou's only sending 4 needs to be able to get home on its own as well, just because I don't know how many more people Mizzou can dedicate to rushing the passer without compromising the back end.
How much buzz is this matchup getting there amongst the Missouri fans? I know there's been big games and big matchups, but this seems like that the buildup would be pretty big there in Como.
Oh, it absolutely is. You know, I don't think it's the biggest game since Mizzou joined the SEC. I think some of those bigger games that sent Mizzou to the conference title game right when it joined the conference are a little bigger. But since that point, I think this is absolutely up there, and it's mostly because Mizzou fans feel like there's a chance for the Tigers in this game. Not that they're overconfident, but this isn't something where Mizzou's going into this thinking it needs something fluky to be able to get a win. This is where Mizzou's got a legit chance. I think this is going to be a really compelling and interesting and balanced football game. So I think that's where the excitement's coming from. I imagine 11 a.m. may be early, but I think Mizzou fans are going to be sufficiently ready to go for this one.
So it's interesting, and I know there's more body of work to look at right now as opposed to last year, but very similar. You had a Mizzou team that was ranked in the top 10, and then they go on the road at College Station, and they got blown out 41-10, and then they had a win against UMass, and they had the win against Auburn, and then they went to Tuscaloosa, and Bama shuts them out 34-0. Is that something you think Eli Drinkwitz this week is kind of maybe not going back and thinking, all right, guys, we were here last year, had an opportunity to make a statement, and we didn't do it at Texas A&M or in Tuscaloosa, but here we have a really good opportunity at home to kind of tell the nation that this is a really good football team, and we're going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with?
Yeah, it's something that's worth noting that blowout loss at Texas A&M last year, that came out of Mizzou's first bye week. And the Tigers are coming off their first bye week now. So that's something that came up when we were talking with Drink this week. And his thought is that what happened in College Station and also what happened in Tuscaloosa last year was a little bit more about last year's team just not being good when it went on the road. And so it's more so that than the bye week things. There also was just at a certain point last year, Brady Cook, the quarterback, getting banged up that I think played a role in some of that as well. And obviously he got knocked out of the game in Tuscaloosa. So maybe some mitigating circumstances there. But I do think this Missouri team has been pretty good just because they didn't have the preseason hype. They weren't ranked in the preseason. I think they've done pretty well of keeping this locker room believing that they haven't really shown anything yet, that this is really their first chance to break out into that national spotlight. And it's a gateway type game where if Mizzou wins this, a lot starts to open up on the other side of this game.
Eli Drinkwitz has exceeded my expectations and what he's done there in Como, and probably some Missouri fans. But if there is a aspect of what he does with his coaching style and how he runs his program, Eli, what area would that be that maybe he doesn't get enough credit for?
I mean, I think it's the staffing point and who he's hired there. He gave up play calling after the 2022 season, which is difficult for these head coaches to do, to admit that what I'm doing with calling plays is not working. And so bringing in Kirby Moore to call the offense there has been maybe the singular best decision of Eli Drinkwitz's tenure. Bringing in Corey Batoon has been pretty good on the defensive side too, but a lot of these position coaches, he's got guys who call plays other places coaching some of these positions. Again, that's something that goes under the radar, but he's got a really, really good staff. We'll see if it stays together after this year. Kirby Morse are already getting the head coaching buzz for other SEC openings, so we'll see what that looks like. But as of right now, I do think, in addition to working the portal, the recruiting, all that stuff, it's a really, really good group of coaches in Columbia.
So, Eli, when we preview these games, whether it's for Alabama and Auburn, and we have people on that cover the team, and we don't want to put you in a bad spot to where, first off, you're going to do it in the newspaper. I assume that you will give a prediction for the game. You don't have to give us a prediction, but we are curious how you think this game is going to play out in regards to, I guess, the flow. Do you see a high-scoring game, a low-scoring game? And, heck, if you want to give us a score, we'll be more than happy to take that score. But we don't want to upstage anything that you're going to put in the paper maybe later on, maybe on game day.
No, I'll give you a score. I'm not afraid of that. I'll say Missouri 34, Alabama 31. This is a game to me that as that suggests, I think there's going to be points just because of how these offenses' strengths align with the opposing defense's relative weaknesses. I think Alabama's going to be able to throw the ball pretty well. I think Ty Simpson's going to have a good day. I think Mizzou's going to be able to run the ball pretty well. I think Ahmad Hardy's going to have a good day. So for that reason, I think this is the type of game where whichever defense can pull out those 2 or 3 stops, I think is going to be the one that wins it. I think this is a game where it's going into the fourth quarter. It's going to be close, and there's going to be some clutch key moments on that end.
Well, you mentioned it. You will be in our neck of the woods next week as Mizzou will be taking on Auburn. So I'm just curious, as you look around the conference right now, and obviously covering the conference last year, it seems to us from down here in Birmingham that this conference is a lot more stronger than it was last year. Do you share that same assessment early on that this is going to be a gauntlet for everyone?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's so much depth in the SEC this year, and it's where not to turn this into an SEC versus Big Ten thing, but you look at the Big Ten and it's so top heavy with Ohio State and Oregon there, and then just kind of I guess maybe Indiana, but everybody else. The SEC, we could sit here and make the case for probably 7-8 teams who could conceivably right now go on and be playing in Atlanta in the SEC title game.
Yep.
It's so much fun to cover. I feel like every week I know less than I did the week before, but it makes for a compelling product.
He is Eli Hoff, covers Missouri there at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and you can find him on X at by Eli Hoff. Eli, we always appreciate the time. Great insight. Have fun this weekend, and we'll catch up soon.
For sure. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Thank you. Eli Hoff joining us. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Tired of worrying about your roof? Whether it's your family home or commercial building, Abide Roofing delivers tailored solutions, whether it's a commercial or your home that you live in with your wife or family. At Abide, it's more than just a new roof. It's about a team of highly skilled local pros that are ready to help you on any type of job, big or small. They work with precision and pride. 25 years of trusted experience, the expertise to get the job done right. The very first time when I started having issues, there was only one person to call, and it was Travis Lloyd at 205-941-6223. I was hoping it was just going to be a small repair. It turned into a whole new roof replacement, but I had the peace of mind of knowing that the very best was taking care of it. Free consultation, free estimate, no obligation, just solid advice. So call Abide Roofing today, 205-941-6223, or go to their website, abideroof.com.
All right, listen up, Bama fans. Eli Hoff just gave his prediction for Alabama, Missouri. Barrett Sallee has given us his prediction.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
for
boy.
Bama, Missouri.
Oh, boy.
You don't want to miss it. We'll give you Barrett's pick next.
So Alabama will be trying to do something this weekend that only 4 other teams in the Southeastern Conference has ever done, winning back-to-back-to-back SEC conference games against ranked opponents. Alabama's never done it. Only 4 other teams in the history of the conference has ever done that. So see if history is able to be on the good side of things for Alabama fans.
We will get to your texts and the phone lines momentarily, but told you that our buddy Barrett Salee, who gives us Alabama predictions, he has given us an Alabama-Missouri prediction. Is it going to surprise you that he sends in Missouri over Alabama 86-12?
Whoa, time out. So the over hits.
The over is hitting with that score. Then he texts me back and he says, but seriously.
Oh, so he wasn't being serious about 86-12.
He wasn't.
Oh.
I thought that was a lot of points.
Okay.
And very scoregami score.
This is not villain music. What is this? This is very
tried
soothing.
to find villain music and it sounded good for like 10 seconds.
No, I have no problem with this music. I'm just saying this is not villain music.
This is quite soothing, Conrad, and I think you stumbled onto something.
This playlist will make you feel like a 19th century villain, and I thought that described Barrett Salee perfectly.
I feel like I'm at the ballet watching like a villain ballerina.
Yes. Oh, keep it going.
Oh, it just went off.
Oh, man. That stinks. Oh, man.
You know, when we get through rehearsal, this is going to be a really good show today.
Oh, yes.
Now, see, that's more villain-like.
This is what I'm talking about.
Galaxy far, far away lived.
All right, so what's the caveat? It's not 86-12.
And a Braves pregame and postgame host, Barrett Salee. He finishes by saying Alabama 31, Missouri 10.
Oh, so he's not buying.
I don't know if I like that if I'm a Bama fan.
Yeah, we're screwed now.
So
don't even play the game.
The over does not hit.
It's the under.
That's the under, and that's a comfortable afternoon for Conrad Van Otto.
Now,
great way to start my day.
Eli Hoff, he said 34-31.
34-31. In that case, what, the over would hit, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's 52.5, I think.
I've gotten burned by the Alabama over 2 weeks in a row, though. I don't know if I can go down that road.
My prediction is I think that's too many points. I don't think this Alabama defense is giving up that many points.
Hey, we have to make a decision now because I could get stuff printed up because, I like to make a big production out of bet it or forget it. Are we now, since it is now flipped, Oklahoma's the favorite, what line are we going with? We going with Oklahoma?
1.5, Oklahoma?
Oklahoma? Is that what we're doing? Because when I sent the stuff out a couple of days ago. Are you good with that, Molly?
Sure.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
We can go pick them.
Not going to change my pick.
Ooh.
What?
No, I was just saying that.
Oh.
Him. But I am looking at the point spreads.
I thought you were just some line movement in Georgia Southern.
Let me see. Georgia Southern is a 3-point underdog at home. Jack State's a touchdown favorite at Sam Houston.
I like Jack State in that game. Sam Houston's not good.
So it's 1.5, right, Conrad? That's the latest this morning for the
Oklahoma?
Red River rivalry.
Yes.
Oklahoma minus
1.5.
Webble wobbly. 800-239-WJOX. Maybe a prediction from this guy. Crimson Convict, how are you?
I'm good, man. Y'all doing okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, I can see Barrett Salee twisting his Raleigh fingers mustache while he gives us the kiss of death with that score.
That's a good point.
Listen, something occurred to me when you were just having the conversation with that last guest. I never thought about how the NIL has changed the landscape of college football. Obviously, the best athletes want to play in the best conference. I know money has a lot to do with it right now, but in the arms race, the talent is now spread out so thin over so many teams. It's made the SEC the deepest, toughest conference in the nation.
Yep.
Here's the thing, though. We always were, but we had those 3 or 4 teams that were at the top, and then you had 2 or 3 others that could bite you on any given Saturday. But now, I was just telling Conrad, it's good for the conference. It's outstanding for the optics of the SEC. The only problem is every single year you're going to have some teams that are going to get their feelings hurt.
Yep.
Because we can't all go. And I told him I would take at least 7, probably 8 or 9 teams in the SEC on the neutral site against Indiana any day of the week. Am I wrong?
Neutral site. You said how many teams?
At least 7, possibly 8 or 9.
I don't think that you're way off base. No, that's probably a pretty good guess. Half of the conference. I would feel good about against that Indiana team on a neutral site. Now going to Bloomington, they do play a lot different there. I don't know how many games you've watched, but they raise their level of play.
No, I'm not a connoisseur on Indiana football. I'll admit that. But at the same time, I believe Indiana's going to sneak their way in with that schedule. And there's going to be at least 2 or 3 SEC teams that are probably more deserving and more talented that are going to be on the outside looking in. But I'm just fascinated by the way this college landscape has changed due to NIL, and I don't think we've seen the last of it, bro.
No. It's just going to continue. That's really good points, Crimson Convict. And you're right.
Bro.
This Indiana,
right.
Yeah, thank you. This Indiana team, that resume framer that they had was over Illinois. You beat a team by 56, and now Illinois doing what they're doing. If they keep winning games, that's all Indiana's going to need as long as they don't just fall apart in the last half of the season. You're going to see Cignetti and the Hoosiers in the college football playoff again.
We'll go to Tuscaloosa, talk to Rodney Orr from Tider Insider on this Thursday edition of Three Man Front.